Word to order. Everybody get a chance to look over the minutes.
I make a motion.
Yep, Larry so moves. Patrick seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those
Aye.
opposed? Minutes are all set. Hey, Terry.
Wait, I missed. Would you just to motion? I missed.
Larry and Patrick second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I gave it an eye, but I didn't know what they were talking about.
The minutes.
So you bring the refreshments next month when we go back to being in person.
I might do that just to be in person again.
Okay, Patrice.
Getting my screen set up. Okay, so we're going from starting at the last referral for this evening. We have a representative for Iron Star here with us this evening. So we're going to go with the 22106VR. It's actually a resubmission. The referred body is the Town of Ankrum Planning Board. The applicant is Iron Star. The location is 2540 New York State Route 82. Proposed action is Retreat Center with a revised scope. It's approval of a site plan and issuance of a special use permit within 500 feet of a state road, Route 82. The existing zoning is AR and AHA2. The existing land use is ag and residential, surrounding ag and residential. The parcel is approximately 46.71 acres, and there are existing and proposed structures. So if you remember last month, we saw this project, but it is reduced in scope considerably since then, and that is why it's been resubmitted. It is now on one lot as opposed to 3 parcels. So the area in red that you see. You can see the ag soils, the prime farmland, and the farmland of statewide importance. Primarily makes up most of that, comprises most of that parcel, those parcels. This is the proximity to parcels in an ag district. Okay, so as I mentioned, the development is now located on a single parcel, referred to as lot number 3. There, before there was development on the whole area, there will be nothing west of the stream that is on the parcel, the existing stream. If you recall, the little structures and the glamping sites were scattered about through here, and now you can see there's just one road in this area. They are planning to reduce the scope of the site to have 4 Greek houses that would have 8 guest rooms. They would be incorporating storage into the inn. As you recall, the inn was going to be located in an existing structure, and there would be a restaurant also along with the inn use. The exercise building is now being referred to as an amenity building, and the location has been adjusted as well. I'm trying to make this a little bit larger so you can see better. Okay. They also are proposing to have 4 A-frame cabins and 11 seasonal tents. That was changed from the 20 glamping cabins that were proposed previously. They also removed the studio and massage buildings. The parking was increased from 56 spaces from 45. And the spaces will be located adjacent to the lodging sites and the amenity building. They also eliminated the overflow parking area. The restaurant would now be open to the public rather than just the people staying at the facility coming to the retreat. They also, because the development is all in this area along 82, they also removed the emergency access road that were for the other parcels on the other side, or the other sites, cabin sites on the other side of the stream. They also made significant adjustments to the stormwater management areas, septic systems. If you recall, each of the cabins had their own individual septic system. So without those, there's been adjustments to both of those designs. Also, site work and grading, drainage, sediment control measures have all been adjusted accordingly. And the area of disturbance is about half of what it was in the previous design. And they're also required to update the SWIP plan and the preliminary water and wastewater report. The traffic evaluation now estimates there will generate 31 trips per day. Things that will remain the same include the inn that will continue to have 5 guest rooms with the restaurant. There'll also be the pool, rain gardens, the adjusted sewage disposal system, and infiltration basin here near Route 82. Again, we don't see any countywide impact from this. And I'm just suggesting that we reiterate the comments that we had before. Most of them, before, I'm referring to the February comments. Most of them are still pertinent. They include that the access off of 82 would require review and approval from DOT, Department of Health, review for lodging, camping, and the restaurant, water and septic, Columbia County Department of Health and DEC, the Ag Data Statement requirement, because of the proximity to parcels within Ag District 1, Columbia County Ag District 1, a stormwater system, the SWIP plan, New York State DEC review and approval, that it be reviewed by the fire chief for emergency access. Any proposed disturbance to the wetland or stream would require potentially approval from the Corps or DEC. So I'm suggesting we maintain those same comments for this reduced proposal.
I make a motion, we accept staff's recommendation.
There's a representative here from the applicant, if anyone has any questions for him.
We got Mr. Mahalik has joined us this evening. One of the questions that came up before was, what are we retreating from to go here?
Great. Good evening, members of the board. As to the purposes of the retreat, I know at the last meeting there was a question if this was going to be, for example, a religious retreat and thus nonprofit. This is not. This is intended as a traditional retreat for tourist visitors looking for respite and relaxation and opportunity to reconnect with the land.
Okay, and so the septic systems be for each unit now, or is there 2 communal ones?
As I understand that most of these uses are going to have their individual infrastructure. I can't say that as a generic rule for the entire project. For some of the uses that might be located closer to each other, but all appropriate county approvals will be applied for from the DOH. And I do know that all the infrastructure is shown on the plans, but we're being very careful to make sure that all the appropriate approvals are obtained.
Yeah. All the units handicap accessible and all that?
Yes, all those requirements will be complied with, and then you'll see on the plans around the different tourist units, we do have the parking spaces designated, or at least shown on the maps, and some of those spaces are designated as ADA accessible to make sure that they're reasonably located from the units.
Okay, that's great. Does anybody else have any questions?
Is it, do you know, is this a single phase build or is it phased out?
So I believe that information is going to be articulated in the EAF, and I don't want to misspeak, but I can pull it up very quickly. Because this has been narrowed down just to one lot, I believe it's a much more straightforward process when it comes to construction, and it should likely be adapted into one phase, but I can check right now. Just one moment. And in the meanwhile, I'm happy to take any other questions while my document is loading here.
I can try to pull it up.
Almost there. EAF, and here we go. It's amazing how the computer slows down the one time of the day you actually need it to work.
I think I have it up on the screen if you'd like to reference it there, or if you want me to, I can scroll through to another page if you wish.
Excellent. So, thank you for sharing it. And I have it here too, and it is listed as a phase project on my end, and I want to compare to what you have on your end. Yes, so 3 phases. So let's look at the details here. Phase 1 is the all-season overnight structures. Phase 2 is the seasonal tents, and Phase 3 is the inn. So I'm glad we pulled this up. Thank you, Director Perry, just to confirm. But compared to the larger original proposed project, this is definitely a much more straightforward construction. So those phases will be taking less time. But yes, just to correct the record, this will be phased as presented in the EAF.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, Ed, did you still want to make your motion?
Absolutely.
Okay, Ed so moves. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Steve seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All
Aye.
those opposed? Motion carries. You're all set.
Great.
And Patrice Rick joined us at the beginning of the conversation on this. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Thanks for joining us.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Director Perry, I want to thank you for your time and for putting me at the beginning of the agenda. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have a
very
good
much for
evening.
coming, for helping out. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Rick, hi, Rick.
Hi. He's on the beach again.
He gets that one certain spot. He's got that chair set up.
Love it. When you guys coming down, you can come down here and we'll do the meetings.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we'll go back to the top then. Stewart's. Okay, so the next is 22013V. It's Town of Claw Creek Planning Board. The applicant Stewart Shops Corporation. The location is 81 Route 66. Proposed action is to construct a retail convenience store with gas pumps. It's approval of a site plan, issuance of a special use permit within 500 feet of 9H and 66 state highways. The existing zoning is highway commercial. Existing land use is commercial, surrounding commercial, residential, and ag. The parcel is approximately 1.62 acres. The proposed structure, 3,975 square feet. This is the intersection of 66 and 9H. Currently the site of convenience store with a drive-through Dunkin' Donuts and mobile gas pumps. I think everyone's probably familiar with that. You see the soils, no ag soils on the parcel. But it is within 500 feet of parcels with in the Ag District 3 with farm operations. Okay, so site plan review and special use permit is required for a proposed retail convenience store with a gasoline canopy island. They're proposing to demolish the existing structure, the fuel island canopy, and remove the existing underground fuel tanks. So it's the current configuration. The proposed configuration would be this. Basically flip-flopping where the gas canopy, fueling dispensers, and would be located here, and the structure, the Stewart shop in this area. So the construction of the new Stewart shop and reconfiguring the site layout, adding an island canopy with 12 fuel dispensers, 12 fueling positions, excuse me. There are currently 6 in the existing development, and underground fuel storage tanks. For signage, there would be signage on the facades here, and also a freestanding sign, and signage also on the dispensers, fueling dispensers. Lighting would be on the canopy and also on the parcel perimeter with security cameras. You can see the lights identified. Get to the lighting plan. The existing driveway, there are 2, one off of 66 and one off of 9H. The Route 66 will be moved and shifted to the west, and it would be changed to a full 2-way access. Currently, it's 1-way in. The driveway off of 9H would be reconfigured and shifted to the east, and it would remain a full access, 1-way in and out, but it would be decreased in lanes. There are now 3 lanes in this entrance, and it would be down to 2. This shows the proposed circulation pattern through the site from here. And deliveries would be on the rear of the Stewart shop. They are also proposing a property line adjustment, which was not part of our review, but just for an information, to extending it to the south. You can see the red line here is an extension, the property line change. Currently, it appears that the part of the driveway is outside of, is straddled on two parcels. It has a boundary going right through it. They are proposing 18 spaces, including handicap, and they would be located on the front and the side of the store. There's also an enclosed dumpster in the rear. Deliveries would take place in the rear of the Stewart shop. The site disturbance is approximately 1.44 acres, requiring a stormwater pollution prevention plan. There's an on-lot well, the sewer proposed connecting to the new county sewer line, and that is application is being considered. The drawings that were submitted are section elevations, grading, drainage, landscaping, turning movements, stormwater pollution and prevention plan, the traffic impact analysis. And that study concluded that there would be no increase in the vehicle queue because of this project, and that the traffic associated with the proposed Stewart's project will not have a significant effect on traffic operations at the intersection of 9H and 66, the site driveways or the adjacent street network, and that no improvements would be necessary or recommended. The review process with DOT is underway, and they've moved on to, I think, phase 2. There is a stream that goes through site, part of federal wetlands, and they're intending to maintain that existing flow path. We did not find that there was countywide or intercommunity impact from this. Do a few comments. This is the landscaping plan, by the way. Number one, that New York State DOT permits for the proposed improvements to the driveway changes are underway. Stormwater pollution prevention plan's been submitted and requires a review and approval of DEC. The underground fuel storage tanks in compliance with DEC and FPA and New York State Uniform Building Code. The Columbia County Department of Health review and approval for the food service component, Columbia County weights and measures for the scales components and the fueling dispensers, and the sewer connection to the county sewer line would require approval from Department of Public Works in the sewer district, county sewer district. And the last, an ag data statement would be required. I didn't find it in the application because of the proximity to parcels located in the Ag District 3. So that was the last comment, 7th comment.
Okay. Yeah, I know Stewart's bought a while ago, and it'll be an improvement over what's there. That's good. Any questions or comments?
Any chance of keeping the gas price at $2.99?
Yeah, that sounds good, Ed.
Would that be nice?
Was your vote dependent on that? We got to get. We'll call them up.
I think it might change the traffic queue if they keep it that long.
Okay. Any other legitimate questions or comments? Rick, you don't have a conflict with Stewart. You haven't bought gas there in Chatham recently, have you?
No, I like Stewart's.
Okay, so could you make a motion then?
I do.
Okay, Rick so moves. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Ed seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carried.
I think they're the only ones with non-ethanol gas.
Could be. I've seen it, you don't see it very often. I've seen it a little bit over in Massachusetts. There's a couple.
Valley Oil has it,
Oh, they do?
yeah. At the station in Clark. The plant.
I can't afford that stuff.
Not all the Stewarts have it though. Reebok doesn't have it.
Okay, so the next is 22014, the Town of Austerlitz Town Board. It's adoption of a local law amending zoning subdivision law, local law number 1.
Let me just interject here for a second, guys. I feel comfortable voting on this. I just want to let you know that I did have a hand in drafting this, in the drafting of this. So any comments, please be kind in wording them. Go ahead, Patrice. I'm sorry.
This should get interesting.
It's an update to an existing law to bring the law into accordance with the comprehensive plan and to update the 2005 subdivision law. I have identified a lot of the changes, and I'm not going to read all of these. I will just do some summarization. The regulations that are proposed are for the review and approval of applications for subdivisions and also for boundary line adjustments, which were not included in the existing subdivision regulations. The replacement would update to bring them into accordance with state statute. They also are significantly more detailed than the existing subdivision law and more details on the procedure and process for each step along the way. They also identify and modify the definitions section. The modifications and additions are to a number of definitions, and they have defined a major subdivision as 5 or more lots from the same parcel, or any subdivision requiring a new road, It requires a review of two-step process, preliminary and final plat, to address the concerns of large-scale development, and references Chapter 195, Section 15 for the dimensional and density requirements in the zoning law, and also for the number of lots, depending upon the size of the parent parcel that would be permitted. A minor subdivision are 4 or fewer lots that front on an existing road, no new roads created, and the development of the remainder of the parcels do not adversely affect the adjacent parcels or area, and they're not in conflict with the comprehensive plan, official map, or regulations of the town or town laws. It also provides guidance and authority to address roads, utilities, drainage, and water management. And throughout the document, there's references to the comprehensive plan, the existing zoning law, and other sections of their town code, including the streets and highways. And it also references fees included in the proposed law, and also provides for the planning board to hire consultants to conduct reviews, expert reviews. It also includes information on performance guarantees, ensuring completion of proposed infrastructure. It also adds an enforcement and administration provisions, and also the authority to require parkland to be set aside. This for large subdivisions, or a fee in lieu of the parkland. It deletes the ability of the planning board to make variances based on hardship, and it also expands it and clarifies like every single section, makes it very, very detailed about the procedure that should be followed.
That part wasn't me, as you know.
I know. So I did, while it does reference many things in the existing code, there are a couple where it actually restates provisions of the zoning law, and that is my one comment. I didn't find that there's any countywide impact from this, but and you don't have to include this, but it was an observation on my part that, and I talked to Tim about this a little bit, the where those provisions are restated in the subdivision law, they just need to be aware that when there are any amendments made to the zoning law, that they would also have to make amendments to the subdivision law in order for the two to be in agreement. So that's one comment. If you'd like to include it, that's what I would recommend. I understand if you would not want to do that too. So
I think we should. One of the reasons it took forever to get this done, but one of the reasons we had to redo the subdivision laws is we had boundary line. We had no way of doing boundary line adjustments. We had a procedure in place. We had a description of it. We had a price to charge for it. But when we were taken to court over it, we didn't have a definition for boundary line adjustment. So the judge threw the whole thing kit and caboodle out. So people were just able to change the boundary lines on their own without coming before the planning board. So that started about 5 years ago. this process, but anyway, I want to thank Patrice. She had given an initial read through. I think I was lax in thanking her about 4 months ago. She had done a read through for us and had many. There would have been a lot more comments from the county planning department if she had not given those to us. and the attorney, Joe Catalano, was extremely thankful for them, because I think what he did was he mashed 3 of them, 2 or 3 documents together, and some was overlapping and didn't really flow. And Patrice helped us out a great deal on that. I want to thank her for that. Okay, having said all that, is there any questions or comments?
thank you, Tim.
Entertain a motion. You're welcome.
I'll make
that motion.
Patrick so moves. Mallory, you second it then?
Sure.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All those opposed? Motion's carried. And Patrice, they have a public hearing on it on Thursday, so if you could email them,
Yes, I will do that. Yeah, everything goes email right now. We haven't been mailing anything out. Okay, this is the last referral, 22015, the R Town of Stuyvesant. It's not a subdivision law, it's their solar law. It's a revision. We also reviewed this last month, and they've made a change to the grandfathering clause and abandonment timeframes. And they're found in number 7 under permitting requirements for tier 3 solar energy systems under decommissioning. They changed the period of time to 1 year. In the previous version that we saw last month, it was 6 months, where it would be considered abandoned. And the second revision is under permit time frame and abandonment, where the cessation of electricity generation of a solar energy system on a continuous basis for 12 months, and it was a change in the previous version, which was 6 months. So they are the two changes. Don't find any countywide impact from this. I have no comments.
Okay. Any questions or comments? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion.
Larry so moves.
I'll second it.
Gary seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. All those
Aye.
opposed? Motion carried. Great.
We have a few projects already for next month. I think 3. We have two. They were submitted after the deadline and too close for me to be able to review them properly to get them on the agenda tonight. And I do have discussions. I told you that we're talking to Department of State in Greene County for a training session, and right now it's June 23rd. It's a Thursday night, and will be in-person session in Caro. So as the topics they're taking, Greene County's doing like a little poll for topics that people would be interested in hearing. So if you have any, I'll share that email with you, and you could forward it directly to Rich over in Greene County.
I thought it was interesting, Patrice, when you mentioned to me that the Department of State wasn't going to be you didn't think they're going to be pursuing the virtual training sessions at all.
No. They were interested in person. So.
Yeah. So.
What's the time?
For 5 to 9.
5 to 9.
That's going to be past your bedtime, isn't it, Larry?
You always want to wear a sweater over there because it's always cold down there. It's always cold.
In case you have to sleep in the truck.
Even when it's hot. Yeah.
Okay. Have anything else for us, Patrice?
Can we sign up with you, or do we have to sign up with them?
I think it'll be an online sign up. I'm not sure how he's going to handle it. I always do it online. I don't know how Greene County, we coordinate together, but we sort of do it a little bit differently when we're the primaries on it. So I will be happy to register you, Larry.
Okay.
Because I know you don't do the internet once that registration opens.
You take care of mine then.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anybody have anything they'd like to bring before this illustrious board at this time? Maybe next month we'll be in person.
Either that or we'll go up to Rick's or we can be on the beach.
I was going to say, are we going to Rick's Beach?
He's got that little bit of waterfront property in Ghent, and Mallory doesn't know where that's located just yet.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure it out.
Sure.
I think that white is actually snow in the background there.
I'm in Mallory's backyard.
My waterfront still has a little bit of ice on it.
I don't think he heard you.
Okay, we'd like to thank Oswaldo for his help this evening, and we'll stand adjourned. At
Good night,
7:00.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you and good night, everyone.
Right.
Take care.
Enjoy the good weather.
Night, Rick.
Good night.
Good night.